Step in the ring, it's time to play. Coach Renee and Matt lead the way. Radical MMA brings the heat. The martial culture podcast can't be beat. Punches fly, minds collide. Technique and heart side by side. Tune in now, don't hesitate. The martial culture podcast, great and straight.
Right. That's it.
That's it. That's all we need. That's enough.
That's all we need. Yeah, we can go home now. I get psyched out. I love our song. Great job, man.
Yeah.
Doing that. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So wonderful to see you. Great.
As well.
Talk about some big news. Big news. So Devin, one of our fighters, got an offer to fight in the UFC Fight Pass for the best featherweight 145-pound fighters at amateur and across the country. Mostly CFFC is a little bit more East Coast, but it's still a national organization. And he got picked, and he's going to be fighting another guy from New York, actually, who just won a big fight, and it's going to be fireworks. So we're off to Atlantic City next week, October 3rd. And it's going to be on YouTube on CFFC, which is Cage Fighting Fury Championship. And get on YouTube and also on UFC Fight Pass. And he's going to be one of the undercards,
Wow.
because most of that show is pro. But anyway, it's really cool to get that offer. The opponent's very tough. It's funny because his opponent is actually, a lot of our students are Georgian here. Georgian meaning from Georgia, the former Soviet Republic, not Georgia. And
Charles.
yes, and so a number of them have actually know who he is, and a couple other guys who are not Georgian, but they know the gym that he trains in, because it's like very small community in New York. So it's actually interesting. His style, I think, is going to match up well with Devin's, though. Man, this guy has some serious bazookas in his hands, So respect, and comes from a great academy. Some people would really expect. So, bring it, and we'll bring it, and we'll see who the best man is left standing.
Wow, it's so exciting. Atlantic City, big time.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And Atlantic City is like the most disgusting place in the world.
Wow. It's stay in the hotels.
Yeah,
Stay in the casinos.
Yeah. It's I heard they rebuilt it a little since the hurricane, so maybe it's a little nicer than the last time I was there. I was there once, and I'll never go back. I don't know what.
Yeah, we went there a couple of years ago. Boardwalk was nice. Got fried Oreos. That was fun.
That's right. That's what I'd actually heard. I heard the boardwalk was rebuilt and is much nicer now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Safe.
I see we have a visitor there.
Yeah, she's sequestered to the bedroom, but now that the dog is doped up, she can have free reign again of the house until he's not on drugs anymore.
I didn't realize how much of a pet lover you were. That's really nice.
Yeah, I like the kitty cats and the pets and dogs. No birds though.
If people have animals and they treat them really well, I think it's a mark of really good character, and it shows you. I always trust people who are very, very caring with animals. It's just generally a good sign that they're a decent person. And then people who treat animals badly, I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah, it's a good line to cross off. And you got cats, right? You're just one cat?
Two cats.
Two cats. Wow. They're doubly awesome.
Brother and sister, and they are exactly the brother and sister, because all they do is fight all the time.
That's cute.
They fight all the time.
Yeah.
So we have this fight coming up, which is fantastic, and then the next day is the big UFC, which I'd like to talk about too. But anyway, they're just very excited. We're in the midst of the final push in camp, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be a great weekend. First, a great weekend for us, and then the next day it'll be hopefully a great weekend for some of the people fighting in the UFC. And Khalil is fighting Pereira too, which is an amazing fight. The first fight, people were really surprised. And Khalil won, technically. And Pete Pereira said he was kind of off because he was injured or something like that. Whatever. So they're having this rematch, and we'll see. And the fireworks between these two fighters are intense. They really, really is not a put on. They don't like each other, and so it's very dramatic. I'm not as interested in that one, although I'm interested. I'm not as interested in that one as I am in the next fight, which is Mira Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. I've been looking for this up to see this fight for maybe years. Like Corey Sandhagen is excellent fighter, really, really excellent, really cerebral. Every single time he fights, you can see him get better and better and learn from it. He had this recent fight against Ferreira, and it was really interesting because, and we talked about it on the podcast, and he put him in this move called the 50-50 position, which is a leg entanglement. And you could tell that the technology that he understood of that position, the sequence, the leverage, the control, all this was so far above what Ferreira knew. Ferreira's like, I'll just try to pull my leg out. And then Ferreira snapped his own leg because he didn't understand the technology. Like, Corey Sandhagen's driving a Ferrari and Ferreira's in a 1950s Winnebago. Right? It's like, it's not a race, it's like just crush him. And he injured himself. It wasn't that Corey Sandhagen injured him. He put him in position, and Ferreira tried to get out in a way that was not good. But it just shows even, how much of a technician Corey Sandhagen is. And he does a lot of these breakdowns online. People haven't seen him. He has always something good to say about how this fighter and he's kind of funny. He's an interesting guy, doesn't really trash talk, really about just showing up and doing the work. And I'm a huge fan of Corey Sandhagen. And Mira has come off of this destruction of Umar, and now he's gonna be. I was watching. I was never super sold on Mira because I felt he was slightly one-dimensional. But that one dimension is insane. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but all he does, he never, ever, ever gets tired. Ever. Like, he doesn't get tired. This human being, right? And he just constantly shoots and shoots and shoots and presses and shoots, and he will not get off of you. He's like, wants to be a barnacle stuck to you, and he just will not stop coming at you. You get up, he takes you down, and get up. Not unlike Hazmat Shemai's recent performance with Dricus Duplessis, but it's different because it's more like guys can get up off of what he does, but then he just puts you right back down. So you're just getting slammed over and over again hard. And he just walks forward. He just literally walks right towards you. And I mean, I was not sold on his technique as much, but I recently watched him training with Demetrius Johnson. It just came out yesterday. They're fun training, not like super competitive. But man, Mira really looks sharp. I mean, he's improved his game in a lot of areas. And to his credit, he understands who he is. I think we have to understand what it is in life, the secret to success in life, is understand who you are. And he's like, he said, I'm not the guy that's learning more right now. He's like, I'm just the guy who refines what I have. I want to make sure that what I do can be done at a higher and higher level. He's like, I'm not trying to add more ingredients to the stew. Leave the stew where it is and just make sure it's cooked perfectly. And I think that's really smart. He's like, he's a bit older, and he says, I don't pick up techniques as well as I used to. But what he's doing is pretty good. That being said, he looks so much sharper than I've ever seen him. So it's absolutely fantastic to see guys really improve. And what he was moving with Demetrius, some really, really good moves, really effective grappling, striking looked much better. So I am extraordinarily excited for this fight. I cannot wait. I'm at bated breath. So it's a week from tomorrow. I can't wait. I'd be sitting in front of the TV. Let's go. Let's see what happens. And
Yeah.
a lot of times I bet on the fights, but this one I don't know. I'm not betting either. I don't
You're not sure? Yeah.
know.
Oh,
I,
wow.
I think my heart is a little bit more with Corey Sandhagen, because I like his approach to fighting Bill, but they're both great.
Yeah. All right. That sounds like a great card. A
Yeah,
good weekend for you guys and for UFC.
no kidding. And there's one other fight that's actually interesting. It's Khalil Rountree versus Jiri Procházka. And um, this is actually interesting. Yuri is the weirdest fighter I've ever seen. Do you know he's the guy who has the antenna on his head? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? He
No.
puts his hair up into this weird, like, I don't know, kind of antenna. Google. It's crazy.
Okay.
And it looks, I think he can't cut it off recently, but he looks like he has some sort of mental deficiency. That's a really like it's just a sense of style of it. But I do like him as a person. He seems like a very nice guy, very genuine interest in martial arts, very, very genuine. But where he fights is like bizarrely effective. Now he does use an actual interesting amount of karate back and forth and this and that, head movement back. So I like that. That's good. His sense of range is this, his power is everything. But he just he does so much weird stuff. And you're like, what are you doing?
Where's he from? He's from another planet.
Yes, but he was the UFC world champion at one point. Like his awkward, weird, unorthodox approach has, you know, given him success. That being said, I think he takes way too much damage, and of course, he won a bunch of when he fights guys who are more technical, like Pineda, things like that. He does not. They just think he gets
Mm.
because their technique is good technique for a reason. And Khalil Rountree is fighting him. Now, Khalil Rountree's not the elite of the division, right? But he's this workman presence that he's just putting the work. Do you know his history?
Yeah.
He used to be like 300 pounds. He was
Wow.
actually a jazz musician. His dad, he comes from a music family who's playing music, and he just started gaining weight as a kid and more and more. And as an adult, he was about 300 pounds. And he started training mixed martial arts, like basically to lose weight. And he was inspired. He was inspired by some of the champions. I don't think it was Conor McGregor, but it was inspired by the early generation of champions. And he started losing the weight. He lost, like, I mean, almost 200 pounds. He was he was like over 300 pounds, and now he's like 185 or something, 190, something like that.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount of weight, a hard work,
Yeah.
and he is unbelievably dedicated. He is a master. And one of the things I think he gets this from his music. When you're very detail oriented as a musician, I find that people are very successful in martial arts because that same, like, I need to have the rhythm. I need to be on this point of the timing in the music.
Makes sense.
I need to work well with my bandmates. All these skills are actually the same skills you need for fighting. So he just excelled. Now, I wouldn't say he's the best grappler in the world, but he's competent, but he is really taken to striking. He's the most pure example of traditional Muay Thai in MMA. He's just Thai boxing. Like, he comes out and obviously it's not 100% because MMA is MMA. It's a different game, but he really, really refined. He moved to Thailand. He's been living there for years now. He's been training in Thailand, and he's super dedicated. And he brought an incredibly famous champion in. John Haggerty is a 1FC Muay Thai champion. And beautiful technique. Unbelievable. Brought him in. And he's a number of weight classes lower, so faster. It's very smart. Brought him in to be fast. And so it's going to be unorthodox crazy with massive genetics to back up, right? Really awkward style with text. And I'm very excited to see what happens. That being said, part of me is a person who believes in technique and the textbook approach says I really want Khalil Rountree to win.
Hmm.
But you never know. Like unorthodox is the thing. One of the things Devin, I don't want to give too much away, but Devin, our fighter, does not fight orthodox at all. He fights actually in a little way like Jiri, not that bad, but he keeps his hands down and he bounces and he's all about movement. He looks like a karate guy. And Devin never did damn karate in life.
Hmm.
And never. And but he looks like a karate guy. He looks like Stephen Thompson. And I'm like, keep your hands up. He's like, no, I'm just gonna keep my hands here. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, well, they're hands up for a reason, buddy. But anyway, but his footwork, his movement are really good, his precision. So it's interesting to see that he discovered this slightly unorthodox style, but you know, being unorthodox and being awkward can be a very very powerful advantage. So anyway,
Hmm.
I mean, you're used to seeing that. So I'm very excited. Right, this week is super stressful for us because we're really pushing, getting everything done. Got to head out to Atlantic City. Yeah, but it's great. It's great. It's really a moment for the radical system to shine. Hopefully, it will. And then and Devin being the warrior that he is, 3 weeks later, he has another fight. Oh, like 3 weeks later, 20 days later, not even three.
Oh, God.
20 days later is another fight right here in New York City, which I would like to invite you with because it's actually going to be outdoors and it's going to be on I believe it's on one of the piers that has the battleship. I think it's on a battleship. I'm not sure. It's one of those like Pier 13 or Pier 17.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they do these fights. They did one recently I talked about it in
Yeah,
Times
right.
Square.
Yeah.
This one they're doing on a pier, and I'm pretty sure it's the pier with one of the battleships. So it's right on the deck of the battleship outdoors.
Holy cow, that's
Yeah, yeah. You
wild.
gotta make it before. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So
That's
that's
cool.
gonna be a good one. Yeah, and a lot of big wigs are gonna be like New York City politicians and stuff. And then so
Cool. Cool, cool, cool. What's the fight camp look like for you guys? Like how many days a week or how many hours a day? Like what are you guys doing?
that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So, it really depends on each fighter's work schedule. So Devin has a very demanding 9 to 5, actually not 9 to 5, it's like 9 to whatever time job. He's in software, very
Yeah.
demanding job. So we try to get him in the academy as much as he can. He's at radical, absolute 100% 4 times a week. But because he lives very far away, he actually is like more near you. He lives in New Jersey.
Hmm.
He lives quite deep in New Jersey, and his job is even further deep in New Jersey. So there are a couple
Yeah.
days where he just has to stay at work. So those days he actually works out and spars and trains with a group of people that invited him in over there to work out and train. It's a bunch
Yeah.
of MMA fighters and grapplers and stuff like that, and some strikers. And he's so the days he's not here, he's there. But he basically, I let him take care of his own conditioning, which is great. He does his conditioning in the morning. Some afternoons he's off at those places in New Jersey, and nights, at least 4 nights a week, he's here. And then what we do is we game plan. So we're like, this is how we see the fight coming out. And but over game planning is like a problem because then you're like, like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. So we like the game plan, but we also like to understand what I call battle points. So battle points are really interesting um, places in the fight where the fight can go, woo, it can just flip, right? And there are a bunch. I don't want to give too much away because this is going to air before the fight, but there are a
Yeah.
few battle points that when you get there, the fight flips. You could be losing, you get to one of these places, and it's like the hourglass of this, the sand and hourglass, and then suddenly everything's flowing the wrong way. And
Hmm.
so our goal is to try to achieve some of those battle points and really, really, really put the pressure on him, the other guy. And that's the game, you know. Um, being very aware of what this guy can bring to the table and being able to counter it. Submission wise, we're not really too worried about any threats there, but we are definitely worried about his power and his striking. You know.
Yeah. Does he have a tough weight cut coming up or looking good?
No, looking great. Devin actually is, he's just always on weight. He doesn't get big out of camp, and he watches what he eats very, very closely. Very.
No McDonald's after the fights like some other people.
You remember that? Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah.
Yes, gee. Okay, we're done. Now we're gonna eat the worst, most unhealthy. But you know what?
Yeah,
He was even like rehydration meals were also unhealthy. It was crazy. Terrible.
yeah, he always got pretty big after fights.
Like he was our Asian Patty Penguin. And there was a part where he said, he's just as like me. And he made it. I'm like, doesn't mean it's good for your health. You're gonna get diabetes.
Mhm.
But yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah, so that's good.
Good.
Now, there's one thing I must talk about. Must
Okay.
talk. Must.
Just get it off your chest. Get it out.
No, it's really good. So, most like we have all these like celebrity boxing matches, and we had the Canelo Crawford match recently. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it on Netflix? Yeah, yeah, it was an interesting fight. I mean, a lot of people thought there would be a lot more fireworks, but Crawford basically used his jab and his footwork to manage the fight and lead the pace, and then counter and make Canelo, always follow him, which was a good fight. I mean, that was not a joke fight. It wasn't like a Jake Paul, kind of like fiasco. Like Jake Paul's fighting Gervonta Davis. Have you seen it? It's like one of the giants from Lord of the Rings fighting Gimli the dwarf. I mean, like they're so different weight class. Like Jake, pick a guy your own size. Like it's crazy. It's like
Mm,
not, weight and height matters, particularly in boxing, right? So, Jake Paul's more about entertainment and appearance, right?
sure.
Not to say he's, like legitimately skilled. But anyway, but this like show boxing stuff, right? What I'd like our listeners to do is look at the lighter weights of boxing and watch real boxing, really technical. And there's a boxer that is very, very popular now. My favorite boxer retired a few months was Lomachenko. I believe that Lomachenko, like I would watch his fights for hours. Like that, it's just not martial. Martial, it's pure art. It's beauty. It's like you could take someone who never looked at boxing or martial arts before, like a ballerina, someone who's very good in like physical activity, and they would look at Lomachenko and be like, "That's amazing." They wouldn't
Wow.
even understand boxing. He's just the Barishnikov of footwork. And his retirement was really sad for him. But of course he's getting older. And I don't know, we talked about this a long time ago, but he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for his last fight against Cambosos, I believe it was. I forgot. But he basically had the largest disparity of significant strikes in any boxing title fight match ever. So it was like 250 to 2, 250 to 1. Like it was like crazy. He was just out gunning the guy. It was slickness and this and that. It was just unreal. But he's a once in a generation Ali type kind of guy. So the question is, who's next? And we tend to sleep on things that are not American. We don't follow, like because we're America, But Japan has historically had some great, great boxers. And now, anybody who knows boxing obviously knows this guy's amazing. But Inoue now, this guy is the next Pacquiao. He's the next, Canelo. He's the next guy. The next, Money Mayweather. He is so good and so technical and so amazing. And let me tell you why he's a Japanese national. Because he is. He is one of the biggest martial arts stars in Japan right now. Okay. Have you ever heard of him? No.
No.
It's a shame, but that's what I want to get people to understand. This is the guy. So let's rewind. When Inoue was young, there was this fighter. His name was Yamanaka. And he was sort of like the batter in Japan. He had like 13 title defenses. He's a very good boxer. Very good boxer. And there was this guy, Louis Gary, who fought him and beat the Japanese guy. Well, no problem. Except he was on steroids. he was roiding up like the performance enhancing. Actually, what I don't know if it was actually anabolics. It was more, but it was performance enhancing, and he cheated like a dog,
Oh,
and he won the fight, and he really beat the other guy down. I mean, because it's not a fair fight. So then they're like, okay, rematch. He tested positive. Unfortunately, the testing was it was definitive, but for whatever reason, one of the American boxing commissions refused to overturn the result. They refused. They're like, no, it stands, which I don't understand. Like, what's the point of testing, right? I don't understand. But the American or the Western boxing, so they said, we're not going to overturn it. So the Japanese Boxing Association was like, all right, whatever, let's do a rematch. So Neri comes in and he doesn't, because he can't do the steroids anymore. He misses.
mhm.
He misses weight by a lot.
Wow.
Finally, he comes in only 4 pounds heavier, but really he was like way ahead, right? And it's not a fair fight. And so he beats Yamanaka down. He basically almost cripples him. It's the end of Yamanaka. Yamanaka's never going to be the same human being again
Wow.
because of this cheater. And then he didn't even make weight. Then he gets in and celebrates in a way that, like, martial arts in Japan is very sacred. And there's this kind of behavior that is accepted. I tell my students this also. There's certain things that if I invite a real old school Japanese martial art instructor, I'm like, don't do this, because it's like, this is serious. Martial arts is serious. And I love that. So what happened was not only he win, after he won, his post-win performance was really classless. It was classless. It had but he's a classless individual. Like, he's just not, he's a grub on the bottom of your shoe. He's a mollusk.
Mm.
Like, he's not a good dude. He's a cheater. And so anyway, the Japanese Boxing Association, they're like, we had enough. We're banning this guy, right? Because he just doesn't make weight, and this and that, and we're banning. So that was a few years ago. But he was this, the enemy of Japan for a long time because he just cheated so much. And Naoya, in a way, gets better and better and better. And then finally he's like, I want to avenge Japan's loss. I want to avenge this guy. I want to get this guy. So the Japanese Boxing Commission undid their ban of him. Undid their ban and like, go get the bad guy. Go.
Okay.
And you know what Naoya Inoue's nickname is? The Monster. Because he's so technical. He's in Japanese bakemono. It means monster. It's like you can't do anything. He's so freaking precise. It's like sniper bullets right into your temple all the time. He's so freaking good. And they start fighting. But you know what? The pressure got to Inoue.
Oh no.
And second round, boom, he gets dropped. Inoue gets dropped. The bad guy's gonna win. All right, justice does not prevail. Shoot, the Japanese crowd was silent. They're like, what? And he was rocked. I mean, rocked. He's like, but then it was guts. Japanese have the word konjo. Guts. So he was rocked, but he just gets up, goes right back to the guy, goes right back and is like, let's go. And then he just turns it up and he goes into this zone, that super zone that only a few elite level athletes ever get. It's that Michael Jordan kind of thing that,
He's in the pocket.
you're in the pocket and he's right there. Not only does this, guess what he does? He punches him and he looks away and he goes, "Buh." He looks away. And he's like, come on, hit me. And you know what he does? Then he does the Bruce Lee. And he gets it. And he starts destroying him. Drops him. Drops Neri. And Neri's like, whoa, now it's even. Then he starts going more and more. Slick, pop, 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 pop. Boom! Wins the fight. And he's
Wow. I gotta watch this fight.
yeah, it's just unreal. It's just great. And he became the prince of Japanese boxing because of this. And he just fought recently Akhmadiev, who actually was a great fighter and came in. You know what? This is because he understands, because he understands martial culture. Like I could tell Akmadilis, MJ is his nickname. He is a martial artist. He comes in, he bows, he gives Inoue. He's from, I believe, Kyrgyzstan or Kazakhstan. Someone he gives Inoue the traditional gear presence, and he bows to them. I mean, super respectful. And it was just great attitude, great no trash talking, but war of a fight. Inoue won convincingly, but it was a war, and it was for every foot of territory Inoue got. MJ was right there pushing back, but he just wasn't quite as good and as precise. And then the tide turned, and it was complete unanimous decision, and Inoue won. And so he's again the champ. But there's this other kid coming up. Now, just like Naoya Inoue was inspired by Yamanaka and all these guys before, this kid coming up was inspired by Inoue and a few. His name is Nakatani. And Nakatani is like, you know what? I'm going to take that prince down. I'm going to be the next prince. That being said, it's respectful. But they just signed a fight. The two, this Nakatani is a destroyer. He's just as good. Nakatani and Inoue are fighting in December. And I mean, it's too far away, but I can't stop talking about it. This is the match that every fight fan should watch. Nakatani versus Inoue. That's going to be, talked about for ages of like two technical masters,
Wow.
Like Sugar Ray Leonard and that era, like where, like two super technical masters going at it. And that's, don't watch Jake Paul crack. Watch this.
Yeah.
So it's just really exciting to see Japanese boxing become so incredible. And I've said this many times before, but Japan has some amazing martial artists in individual disciplines. It's just that the individuals don't combine, like they don't communicate so well. So the Kyokushin champions are amazing, the judo champions are amazing, the boxing champions, Muay Thai champions are amazing. But then when it comes to MMA, it's sort of like they can't, kind of draw from all that knowledge and talent in Japan. It's a shame because there's so much talent there, but they're really in their silos. But it's absolutely worth watching. It's fantastic. So anyway, so that's what's going on. We have our fight. We have UFC coming up, and then further down we have Japanese boxing. But anybody can look up Inoue. You should do it because watch his fight against Louis Neri, and then watch his fight against MJ Akmadila, which is very, very, very technical fight. Really, really worth watching. I was impressed. This is great. Yeah.
Very cool. Wow. So much going on. December so far away though.
I know, right?
But a lot of fights to watch before then though. And Devin's got 2 fights before then.
That's right. Maybe even 3. We might have a third one too at December. So
He's a workhorse. Just gotta keep winning. So you stay pretty.
Yes. He hasn't gotten hit in I think in last 3 fights he got hit like maybe once. Gray's, just dominated the fights. So, although this will not be that. This will be a harder fight. We're expecting a real drop down, drag out war. That's what we're expecting.
Yeah.
We're coming in that this is gonna be a slog. This is World War I through the trenches. You have to fight for every inch. And that's what we're gonna do,
Yeah. I'm sure he'll come out on top.
I'm very confident, though,
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah.
Looking
That's
great
good.
in a kid, looking fantastic, So fantastically unorthodox.
That's a tattoo on his back when he becomes a full-fledged UFC star.
No tattoos, please. There's no law in the UFC bylaws that must have a bad tattoo.
I don't know. Everybody's got one.
Sure, tell me about it. Too much. So anyway, that's
Great.
it's kind of cool. Interesting. Just I've been talking about something at our academy too, which I don't want to give too much away, but it's a huge time because we're revamping our system. So it's very important. Again, we talked about the Ferrari and the Winnebago. We just discovered another Ferrari. And
Oh, the Steven Seagal method.
you mean get fat and
Oh,
yeah, and beat up your wife? That's terrible. It's true. You got to tell me the wrong. Can I tell you a funny Steven Seagal story?
please.
So this is actually from a friend of mine. So my friend is a director in Hollywood. He mostly does commercials, but he's a director. We haven't spoken for many years, but we were close in college and stuff, right? And he was invited, and Steven Seagal sitting at his table, and the entire table has a sushi boat for the whole table. You know what Steven Seagal does? Grabs it, pulls it in front of him, and doesn't share with anyone else. Oh my God! Like, what is wrong with you?
Oh my God. Classic
I mean,
Seagal.
there's so many other stories about him
I'm
pooping
sure.
and this and that. And I have another story from a friend of mine, but he doesn't want me to say it. But martial art friend. But this gives you a clue of like Steven Seagal is an awful person, you know?
Hmm. Hmm. But your new system, not Seagal related. But you got something cooking.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very it's a new innovation in the game. And I'm super excited because I think it's gonna change our game tremendously, you know?
Very cool. Are we going to see it next weekend, or is it still in the oven?
I think it's so new. I think we need a little bit more time to think of it. But when it does come out, I'll send you the video. You never
All
know.
right.
You never know.
Cool. Yeah.
One of our students was doing it this morning and he was rocking it. And he only
Wow.
learned it last night. He only learned it last night. I'm like, there you go. That's it.
That's exciting.
It's always about systematic approaches to victory. And this is true in life. It's like if you want to get something, it's not one thing and push. It's I do this and then he's going to do this, so I do that. And really, my second or my third or my fourth thing is that. So this is what we mean by systems. You know, um, one of one of and funnels. Funnels are super important. What a funnel is instead of not letting the guy do what you want. So, for example, you're fighting me, and you know absolutely 100% I want to take you down and submit, right? Right. So, what's your number one thing? You're like, no, I'm not going to submit, right?
Hmm.
And maybe you succeed, or maybe not. But you're going to use every ounce of your energy to stop, and that's not super efficient. Now, it is a strategy, but it's not efficient. How about you? What used to say in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, give them what they want, but not the way they. So you let me shoot him for the takedown, and just in that moment you're taking me down, you use my momentum, flip me over, get on top, and strike. Right? That would be what? Wait, that's what I wanted, but it didn't work out the way. So you used my thing to funnel into your thing. So
Hmm.
I know you want to do this, so I'm gonna let you, but I'm gonna set that thing as the bait for the trap. Now the trap can be here, here, here. Once we're in the trap is the system. So that's really
Hmm.
what our thing is. It's like we funnel people into these system of traps instead of trying tooth and nail to not allow them to get anything they want. Give them a little bait on the hook. They chase it, and then you know that's part
Interesting.
of that's part of the game.
Smart. Sounds interesting.
Fight with your intelligence, right? But
Mm.
and those, like I said, those battle points, we funnel into battle points. But anyway,
Very
can't talk
cool.
about too much.
No,
Talk
no.
about too much. We'll see. All
Yeah. Can't wait to see it in action.
right, my
All right,
friend.
man. Good time, good talk, and good stuff coming up. And good luck to Devin and the whole team at Radical.
Thank you. And I guess I will be away on Friday, so we won't
Okay.
record. But yeah, I'll give you the play-by-play after the fact.
Beautiful. All right, man. All right. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Lessons learned and battles won. The journey's long, but we've begun.